It's Monday, August 21st. This is a SPY recap, first day of the week, and today we end up with on the daily chart, a 2-up green bar that, as you can see, held the midpoint of the prior day. We took out the high of that day right near the open. I'll show you that in a second, and it was a little bit volatile down, but then closed up green. So we were kind of expecting, after this green reversal day on Friday, testing a little bit higher. You have a fair value gap in here that you expect the price to come to. You wanted to see how it reacted to that, and at the moment it seems to want to hold up here, and if it does that, then we could almost start thinking about looking at this big bar on Thursday, the red bar, and forming kind of a compound outside bar as our next target to take out that high. In other words, if you look at this bar, you take out the low of that bar, and then on the broadening action, that price you often exhibits, and it wants to come up, and it kind of crosses through. If we don't fail here, then you can start expecting that high to be taken out until proven otherwise. If you look at the 15-minute chart zoomed out, it's not unreasonable still to continue higher into you can see a little gap, inefficient pricing right up in here. If you took this and had like a downtrend line or a channel, you can see it kind of coming all the way up to here, possibly, if it still wants to maintain the downtrend before turning down. And in the same sense, maybe it's possible we just got a little bit of a down 1, 2, 3 high pullback, and that's it, and we go lower, so price action will lead the way. You see that a lot on the downtrends. You come down, then you get a 1, 2, 3 up, down, 1, 2, 3 up, we go lower here. This was more of just a pullback down. Here's 1, 2, 3. So the continuity is still to the downside of the big picture, but in the short run, and we now have a reference point. We have the midpoint of today, and we have the open of the week, which is this yellow line. So as long as we stay above there, we continue to kind of play the upside a little bit, knowing that our big picture is still down. I mean, on the weekly chart, we're still we just opened the week kind of inside of the previous week. We're nowhere near the halfway point of that week yet, although you never know what's going to unfold. It almost looks like this type of week might give us an inside week. I mean, we have 4 days to go, so who knows? But if it does, then we have to see if we go up or down next week, and there could be a failure on those kind of inside bars, but that's a long way off right now. But for the moment, are we going to, is it more likely to get a 2-up week or a 2-down week continuation? We have a little exhaustion risk on the downside, but given this is a red bar, you're still kind of thinking that you should test that low, and some of the best trades are going to be failures on the daily chart here to move up, whether we go up tomorrow and then reverse and get to the halfway point of that bar. Maybe we start at the midway point of that bar and get a 2-down tomorrow, that type of thing. We'll look for it, but in the meantime, it's just going to be price action based. Of course, on the monthly chart, we established a 2-down month on that big red day on Thursday, so there's still a target to fill in this gap down in here, the high of that bar. That could be where we're heading on the monthly chart. Now that we have a 2-down month, we still have time to go in the month, but again, you never know. It's just a 1-month pullback, so if this weekly chart kind of turns up at some point, whether it's an inside bar then up, or whether it's a 2-down failure and up, or whether it's just a pure 2-up, until that really heads up, we still kind of have to consider the monthly time frame to be down. So we will see what unfolds. In terms of today's trading, just to recap it, classic kind of example of your bias to the downside, given that the big picture, like I discussed, is down, and right out of the gates, the pre-market range was between the blue lines. You came up for 2 bars, took out that high, and immediately had a red bar failure. And I kind of shot some videos how I bought puts, scaled out to set up an overage trade. I mentioned how we still really are not below the midpoint of the prior day, so I don't know really what's going to happen, but I did say that lower blue line was kind of a target, and I was generally taking profits down here on kind of a 1-2 push down, and that's given my morning trade philosophy relative to the first bar. That's what I always do, and in this case, that's what kind of saves you, because the market then had its broadening action all the way back to the upside. You didn't know that was going to happen. Once you kind of came up here and had a, kind of a potential taking out some stops on these 3 bars right here, and you didn't, call that, let's say, an orderly pullback, and you didn't get the red bar making a second push down on the day, you kind of sensed once you had this green bar breakout, you were heading towards those highs again of the day. And that's, kind of what developed from here all the way up to here. There was a bit of a, it made sense that it was going to likely take out some liquidity there. So there's your classic broadening action, taking out stops on the downside in the morning, and then algorithmic type trading, just taking it up. But you have an overall downtrend in play, and there was nothing really to do in the afternoon here, given that the morning trade was all you could expect, and then you kind of just closed near the highs of the day. But we're still more interested in some kind of failure to develop to get short, and we'll continue to play long if it unfolds. Today, the long trade really didn't unfold early. It unfolded more up in here for a little bit of a scalp, but other than that, wasn't much of a, going on in the afternoon. So we will see what unfolds for the rest of the week, but our reference point now is the open of the week. Stay above that, we'll stay green, we'll stay to the long side, but we'll get excited about any failures that unfold. And again, we're always going to judge the opening 15-minute bar and the pre-market range and kind of see what structure unfolds.